Hello, is this Miss Ames?
Yes, this is she.
Hi, my name's Michelle, and I work for the Ending Abuse program, the one that your husband Tom has been enrolled in.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you called.
Thank you, Miss Ames.
You can call me Mary.
Thank you, Mary. I was calling to talk with you about your safety after I heard about Tom's violence towards you.
Yes, I've been through a lot with him.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, but first I wanted to let you know that what you say to me is completely confidential. We don't have to repeat the information to Thomas or to anyone else. However, I need to let you know that there are some exceptions to that. I'm a mandated reporter, so if you report an incident of child abuse, I'd be mandated to inform the Department of Children and Families.
Okay.
Also, I would be obligated to pass on any information to authorities if you reported an incident of abuse towards an elderly person or a disabled person.
All right.
Also, it's important for you to know that the information you provide might be subpoenaed into court. This rarely happens. But if you are part of a court proceeding and a third party seeks an order for this information, a judge could order that.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, good. I also want to let you know that you're under no obligation to talk with me or to participate in your husband's treatment in the Ending Abuse program. Our philosophy is that the abuser is the one who is solely responsible for his abusive behavior, and it's not something that's caused by his partner, and the partner is not responsible for trying to keep him safe from being abusive.
Okay, but I do feel responsible for him sometimes.
Mary, could you tell me a little bit about the incident when Tom violated the no contact order?
Well, after I got the no contact order, the next day he came into the restaurant and wanted to talk to me. When I said that he's not supposed to see me and that I had a no contact order, he said, well, he knew that, but he just wanted to talk. When I said he couldn't, he got angry and started accusing me of seeing another man. He started crying and said, why don't I just kill myself? And then he said, why don't I put us both out of our misery? And by then, the waiter and I think another customer heard him, and they came over and asked him to leave. And he did leave, thank God.
Wow, that must have been really frightening. Were you worried that he'd become more violent?
Not there, not in front of other people. I could see that people were watching him, and that reassured me.
Has he made any previous threats to kill himself or you?
Before I got the no contact order, we were sitting together on the couch, and he was accusing me of being interested in our friend John, because I've talked with John and his wife Alice a few times. I was telling him that I have absolutely no interest in John, and he kept asking me why would I want to talk to him at all, and I said, we both talk to John and Alice. They're our friends, and they're worried about us, like when the police were called. And John and Alice have just asked me if we are okay. And Tom kept saying that I was deliberately trying to make him look bad in front of our friends. And he said that John was interested in me, and that he would try to take advantage of the situation. I said, he's not like that. He and Alice have a really solid relationship. And as I was saying this, Tom was looking through his wallet, and he took out a razor blade, one of those single blade kinds that he still uses, and he said the situation was hopeless and that he might as well end things if I was going to bring other people into our marriage. He put the blade against his wrist and he started cutting himself.
He was cutting himself with a razor blade?
Yes, he's done that before. He was making like a slow cut and some blood was coming out, and I was trying to calm him down because I didn't want to trigger him to cut deeper.
Oh my God, that must have been so scary.
Well, yeah, but like I said, he's done it before, you know, and sometimes I can anticipate when he'll do that.
How many times?
Oh, like maybe 5 or 6 times. Usually he stops before he's drawing blood, and I get a bandage. I mean, the first time I called the ambulance because I didn't know if the blood would stop.
When was that?
That was about 5 years ago. The ambulance came and He was admitted to the hospital, and then the police came, and he was arrested at the hospital because I told him that Tom had just slapped me in the face 2 days earlier. But anyway, he was sent to a psychiatric hospital at the prison for 30 days of evaluation, and they put him on some different medication, and then he came home.
Was there a criminal case for domestic violence?
Yes, but I didn't pursue that.
Can I ask you why?
Well, I don't know, but Tom has always said that he'd rather end things than end up in prison.
What does he mean by ending things?
I mean, end his life. He said it wouldn't be worth living in prison.
Have you ever felt afraid that he was going to do something to you or the children?
Not the kids, but maybe me. I don't know. He said it a few times. Why don't I just put us both out of our misery? I don't know if he means it. He has a psychiatrist, and I've talked to the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist saw us together. I don't know.
What has the psychiatrist advised?
Well, Tom's been seeing him for 5 years, and he talked to Tom about his depression and Tom's feelings of hopelessness. He's got him on an antidepressant, which helps him to some degree. But Tom doesn't always take it. And the psychiatrist has talked with me about how to help Tom manage his moods.
That puts quite a load of a burden on you.
Yes, it does. And I know I'm not responsible for Tom's moods. But I have talked him down sometimes, and I know that if he's going to kill himself, he's going to kill himself. I know that.
How often do you fear that?
Pretty much all the time. That's why I put him out, because if he's going to do that, I don't want it to be at the house. I've been in counseling, and my counselor has said the same thing, that I'm not responsible for him. And she supported me to get the restraining order.
So she knows about the domestic violence?
Yes, she does know. She was referred to me from the domestic violence program in our town. And they've also talked to me about my safety and the kids' safety. And since he's been out of the house, the girls have been much better. He's never put his hands on them, and he doesn't yell at them, but they know he's depressed, they know he's moody, and they know that I bear the brunt of that. I just don't want them to feel responsible for him like I do.
It's great that you're getting that kind of help.
Yes, and they've also said I could call the police, and I've told them I think that would only make things worse. When he's been arrested before, they pretty much have seen him as a mentally ill person. He's been held for evaluation 3 times. They'll adjust his medication, stabilize him, and then he comes back home.
Is this the first time you've gotten a protective order?
Yes, it is, because my counselor in the program she works for advised me to do that.
And that's the order that he violated by coming to the restaurant?
Yep, that's right. My safety plan is to make sure there are other people around when I'm out. And I talked about that with my counselor the next day, and I did agree to call the police. But I said I didn't want him charged. I just want him to get some help. And I asked them if he could go into the ending abuse program, which I'd found out about from my counselor. And so that's what I did. The court, I guess, they asked him to go to ending abuse, and his case was continued without a finding. I guess that's what they call it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. Tom is subject to being sentenced if he commits a new act of abuse, or if he violates the no contact order, or if he doesn't complete the program ending abuse.
That's what I want. I just want him to be in the program now that we're separated.
Yeah, we can do that. We can encourage him to accept the separation and to work on himself. It sounds like he's pretty dependent on you, Mary. We can encourage him to depend more on himself.
Well, that would be good. He's never had to cook for himself, and God only knows what he's been eating. And Kyle is living with him.
We can talk to him about that. We can ask him if he's cooking for Kyle and for himself. Maybe that would be one way that he could be more independent and also to take care of his son.
Yeah, he does worry about Kyle, and we both do. And Kyle has a lot of his father's characteristics. He just got arrested for vandalizing some cars.
Yeah, Tom told me about that.
I'm glad he told you. Kyle's living with Tom and working for him. And it's good for him to have a job, but if he gets arrested, he might lose the job and maybe he won't be able to finish high school.
We can talk to him about how Tom can help with Kyle.
Yeah, but he gets angry at Kyle.
We can talk to Tom about talking to Kyle about how to not raise his voice and how to show Kyle a more positive example of how to do that.
Well, that would be really great because I know that Kyle is affected by Tom. And I just don't want him to follow in Tom's footsteps. And I don't think Tom wants that either.
I'm so glad we talked, Mary. We have been concerned about your safety, given all the things that Tom revealed during his intake session. I don't want to frighten you, but Tom admitted to a number of known risk factors for serious and potentially fatal domestic violence. These include threats to kill you and threats to kill himself. He's violated the no contact order, and he sounds extremely jealous. Those are just two other risk factors. Another one is that he threatened you in public. He admits that he has a mental health problem and that he abuses alcohol. Those are two other risk factors. That's why we wanted to reach out to you today. I think it's great that you're in contact with the Victim Service Support Group and you're seeing a counselor who's helping you with a safety plan. We just want you to know that just because Tom is attending the No Abuse program, it doesn't mean that he will stop his violence.
I know that, but it's comforting to know that he's got somebody else to talk to because it makes me feel less responsible.
Good. I think it's important for you to continue to take care of yourself. We'll reach out to Tom's therapist too, just to give him our concerns about Tom and the risks that he poses.
I think that's a good thing. Tom wanted me to continue with his counselor with him, but I haven't gone there for about 6 months now.
I think that's good. When there's domestic violence, couples counseling is not recommended. Anything you say during the sessions could put you at further risk for abuse. And also, you're not responsible to help Tom about ending his abusive behavior. That's completely his own responsibility. We'd like to tell the therapist that Tom admits to drinking and that that's something he shouldn't be doing while he's taking his medication.
Good.
We think it's important for the therapist to know that he can talk to him about that.
Thank you. I think it's important for Tom to be honest with his therapist. And I'm glad that Tom told you about his drinking.
It is good. We will work with him to help him take better care of himself in all ways. Meanwhile, our partner contact coordinator, Jenny, will call you later this week to ask you some additional questions that we didn't get to in this conversations. She would like to ask you about any other types of abusive behavior that you might have experienced. Please feel free to ask her any questions that you like.
Thank you. I feel relieved that you care so much. It really helps lift my burden.
Good. Feel free to call us anytime you like. And keep calling upon your own counselor. I would encourage you to talk with her about adjusting or adding to the safety plan for you and to talk about the risk factors we've been learning about in this brief conversation.